Judas?
Start your sublight engines, it's time for RuPaul's Potteries, a queer Star Wars podcast. Welcome to our discussion of the Season 3 finale of The Mandalorian, The Return. My name is Mel, I use they them pronouns. You can find me on social media at Melvin Culpa and on TikTok at GrunkleRex. And my agenda this week is Axe Woves' Immaculate Pullout Game.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god!
Stellan Gios is shitting, farting, throwing up.
No, because you know what? If Axe Woves was on the bottom half of Starlight Beacon instead of Stellan Gios and Elzar Man, then everyone would have been fine.
Real.
Like,
I was
sorry
thinking about the 501st at the end of Burying the Dead. I was like, oh, so if they had just had jetpacks and everything would have been fine. Like Axe Wolf was like, sorry to Amelin Holdo, I'm built different.
No, literally, the Woves maneuvers, he said, you have a jetpack.
Thinking about Axe Woves just being like, I'm gonna fly into space, fuck you guys. We'll talk about that later.
I was thinking about that too.
Fuck,
Okay, yeah.
no, fuck Leia. Axe Woves is my only bitch who flies through space.
It was a very like Clone Wars season 1 moment where they were like, okay, what they're wearing is definitely not like, it's not suitable for space, but okay, I'll let it slide.
We have to table the axe talk for now. We'll get to it. My name is Ollie. I use any pronouns. You can find me on social media at OllieFresh. It's fresh with a PH. And my gender this week is late-term abortion provider Djarin.
Oh my god!
And I must say, for that reason, he saw those Moff Gideon clones and said, I don't think so. I don't care what term they're on. We're getting rid of them.
It's so dark.
That was funny as shit.
Here's the problem I have with those little guys, is that they were not little guys. They were like full-grown ass men. Why would you make them the age that you are and not just like raise them from birth?
I didn't want to raise them.
My fear is that those are like definitely old enough to be viable. Like, do you think that those clones were like no, I'm serious. I'm saying like I was really expecting Din to like break them open for all of them to get out and be like, hey,
naked?
Yeah, and to be like, oh, hey guys, we're here. Like, they're adults. They should be fine, right? Unless he's cloning them, like, they don't have to go through the stages of life like other people.
I mean, he said, like, he's doing experiments with force sensitivity, so they may or may not have even come out, right? We don't know.
I like that they were trying to make normal clones, and then they were like, I don't know what's going on, but they all keep being adults. Like, we keep trying to, like, you know, make them normal clones, like, from babies, but they keep being adults. And Moff Gideon's like, yeah, no, I was actually born. That's how I looked as a baby. I've actually looked like this my entire life.
Benjamin Button ass? What is he doing?
Yeah, Moff Gideon's actually, like, 3 years old, guys.
It's the opposite of the beach from old. Hi, I'm Claudia. My pronouns are she, her, and you can find me on social media at Kaludia Says, Kaludia Says. And my gender this week is we're popping big bottles when Dinbo happens.
Okay, Claudia.
Wait, I had to do it.
You guys hear that like weird like whistling sound in the back?
Yeah,
Claudia. Shit, sorry, I thought it was like a vacuum or something.
Wait, I have to say it again. I have to say it again because I didn't get through it.
No.
Yeah, we're popping the guys. We're never mind. I can't be mean.
I mean, I'm popping bottles if Dinbo happens. Fuck you.
Our gender is we're popping big bottles when Dinbo happens tomorrow, and I'm saying that if you don't know what that is a reference to, if you are, everyone is getting mad at me, but some people don't know every joke on the internet, so that's why I'm explaining. Okay.
Don't you dare fucking compare Dinbo to Makora. Fuck you, Claudia.
It's giving the star. Listen, I was a Makora shipper, okay? I was one.
Holy shit. Wait,
No,
reveal.
no.
Reveal.
Everybody stop.
You cannot be. No, you cannot be.
Claudia?
Hold on.
You cannot be. No.
Hold on. I was not a Makora shipper past season 2. So by the time
season 2.
Okay, the beginning. Okay, I should say the beginning of season 2. At the beginning of season 2, I was like, "What is this?" And I stopped, and I was like,
"Bitch, Asami was right there in season 1. What were you doing?"
Claudia, you cannot be anti-Dinbo and pro-Makora through season 2.
I didn't say through season 2. I said It ended promptly at the beginning of season 2. Number 1. Number 2, I didn't say I was anti-Dinbo. I just thought it was very funny. Everyone was like, Dinbo, whatever. And there was definitely food for the Dinbo shippers in this finale. For sure. However, I'm a Din Armorer shipper. Din Armor? Oh, no! Ah, no!
Canceling Mima.
So many reveals of Claudia's ships tonight.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant I'm a bow and the armorer shipper, and there was a lot of food. And I'll just say this. Din wasn't even there for the relighting of the forge. He wasn't even there for all of that, and for her big moment, for Bo-Katan's big moment. So you lost. The Dinbo shippers, you lost. This is all /J. I don't care.
Does it make you feel superior? Does it make you feel good when other people find joy in something and you say, this is actually compat? Does that make you feel happy, Claudia?
I'm just being a bitch. I don't actually. That's
okay,
all.
Mima, it's time for bed.
Here's the thing. This is actually a gender courtesy of Claire, who said it during the episode. So you can blame them. Anyways, if you would like to know what we're popping big bottles when Makora happens tomorrow is, go look it up on Know Your Me.
I'm Jess. My pronouns are... Well, I've been really questioning my pronouns lately, so this week we're gonna spice it up. My pronouns this week are they, he. And you can find me on social media at Kawaii Jessio, and my gender this week is Grogu's funny little waddle.
So true.
Did you see him walking into the little like hangout spot for all the New Republic like pilots? He's waddling along, and I was like,
he was doing a lot of like weird movements.
Stand, and he said to the man running the stand,
"Stop." Oh my god.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No, and Grogu, he was like fucking flying too. I was like, damn, he's got hops.
He was really like, Luke really trained him to hop. If Luke taught Grogu one thing when they were briefly together, I don't know how long actually, it was probably more than just briefly. When they were together, he was like, jump, little guy.
Luke Skywalker's Jedi school really should have just been like a basketball intensive. When you think about it.
No,
I feel like he
or
would
a trampoline park.
Urban Air owned by Luke Skywalker.
I bet Ben Solo would not have turned to the dark side if that was what it was.
Maybe your stupid little Jedi temple should have been a trampoline park and you wouldn't have plunged the universe into darkness, you fucking twink. But some of us are working hard at fixing that. Sorry, I don't know why I just like came for Luke Skywalker.
Because he needs it.
Yeah, maybe if it was a trampoline park, maybe Ben Solo would have not turned out the way he did.
Ben Solo is like that because he was like, Master Luke, can we go to a trampoline park? And he was like, no. And he was like, okay, I've got a solution in mind. I'm Noah. My pronouns are he, him. And you can find me on social media at The Jewish Jedi. And my gender this week is my clown shoes are squeaking and they are tied on tight because I spent every episode of the show thinking this is the one where Cobb Vanth will make his appearance, and you'll know he not once did. Even after those final moments, I was like, surely now he will come on the screen.
Cobb Vanth, where are you?
I lost the Glup Shitto Olympics.
He could have been in that cabin.
And I believe in my heart that he was, but not seeing him, like I lost the Glup Shitto Olympics. It's indisputable.
I mean, Din was like, now he lives on the Outer Rim, whatever. He has plenty of time to visit his 2 boyfriends on Tatooine. That's what they set it up. So Din Cobb canon, obviously. Also, yeah. I didn't get to see my girl Sabine, so we all lost.
Okay, but at least we've seen Sabine in a trailer. We know she's coming.
I was gonna say, I'm like, she's been somewhere.
No, because fuck you guys. I won.
I know. I'm about to be like, I can see Mel. Mel's like winding up to like talk about how A Nation
Dixe Nation fucking won this season, and like, yeah, we'll give it to Mel. Give it to Mel.
I would say
Yeah.
in the Glup Shitto Olymp, I mean, we'll talk about this for the whole season, but in the Glup Shitto Olympics, I do believe both Mel and Ollie won this season completely.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
undermine Mel, but like we kind of knew Axe was gonna be in this season because like Simon Cassianides was like
We didn't know he
spotted
was
on the
gonna-
set. Well, he was spotted on the set. Like people knew he was gonna be in it in some capacity. Garatheb, no one knew that bitch was gonna be there.
Do not make Gareth Aurelio Spanish. That's an insult.
No one knew his ass was gonna be there, and the fact that he appeared on my birthday, I win.
Now, this is when I actually trick you guys and reveal that I am a Brendel Hux. I can't even finish the sentence.
Oh my god, Jess has been standing Brendel Hux since day one.
No, I don't fucking care about Brendel Hux.
I was gonna say I'm actually a Trapper Wolf stan, so seeing him twice.
No,
was
ew.
really-
Yeah, the entire time, like, I see your stupid little cowboy hat back there.
Do you
I
think-
see you.
Do you think Trapper Wolf and Carson Teva have ever?
Absolutely, 100%.
More than
Oh.
once.
They're
wow.
always at that little bar together.
Was it a gay bar? Yeah, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Zeb is there, so
Any bar he walks into is a gay bar, I get it. Yeah, you're right. So this episode we're just going to be talking about the finale. We are going to do like an actual wrap-up episode where we talk about this season of The Mandalorian as a whole next week. So just keep that in mind as you listen. And for all of you bitches who are on this podcast, keep that in mind when you try to talk about your final thoughts. Something I thought that was really fun, Jedi Survivor is coming out in a few days. This episode was so Fallen Order coded in so many ways. Like, you see, like, spoilers for Fallen Order, but, like, the scene from Dathomir where Jaro destroys Cal's lightsaber, Moff Gideon did that thing to Bo-Katan, and I was like, I see you. There was a little droid who was stomping into things. Real.
I will say that scene with the droid and then all the mouse droids, I did, and apparently a couple people on Twitter, we all had the same reaction of like, well, if it was Chopper, he would have thrown down. So if it was Chopper, those mouse droids would have been dead.
I saw the mouse droids and was just like, yay, mouse droids. Woo. Those are my allies.
I will also say, read this episode being Fallen Order coded. There were a lot of platforms inside of a cave, and I really
There really
appreciated
were.
the number of sections in the game in which there are platforms inside of a cave.
No, I would have loved for Din Djarin to start wall running.
Din Djarin wall runs and then sort of slowly falls off because you don't push him the rest of the way, and then he just falls into the abyss.
I mean, we kind of got Grogu wall running. Not really wall running, but he was doing his little flips.
Okay, Grogu Cal Kestis parallels. All right, thank you so much for listening to RuPaul's Pod Race.
So I just want to say, like, there's been a lot of discourse about this episode and then the season as a whole, whatever. I have to say, we've said many times our issues with this season are like our issues with The Mandalorian as a whole. We've like said it a bunch, whatever. It has to do a lot with how TV is made, whatever. We're probably going to say that like 18,000 bajillion times. I also have said a couple times, like, it's interesting for me when I talk about Star Wars with the Star Wars people, which are you guys, but also other people, but also my friend Mars, who's like not in the shits with Star Wars. And we've had some really interesting conversations about how thematically both this episode and then for the whole like season or whatever has been really interesting as a cultural moment and like thematically. And for me, the part that sold it for me and that made me go, I think this was a good season finale, because was like, this season was about Mandalorian culture as a whole, Din Djarin helping his culture, helping them literally return back, all this kind of stuff, whatever. And the big climactic moment is them destroying the Darksaber. And that to me was my favorite part, because like the whole thing is that the Darksaber, it was built as something to unite everyone. And the whole thing is that Mandalorians are, their religion is weapons, and that was the whole thing. But it ends up being a tool of division and used as a tool of division all this time. And Bo-Katan herself has believed all this time that she needed that in order to unite everybody. And so then it's destroyed, and her reaction is not like, oh fuck. Her reaction is finally like, okay, well, actually our biggest weapon is our collective strength or whatever. and it's Din who comes in and helps or whatever, and it's Axe with the steel chair, aka the fucking Star Destroyer or whatever. But she's like, I actually don't need it. I don't need the sword. I just have the people around me. And what I did like about that was like, you know what? The show has its ups and downs, whatever. But I will say, like, Star Wars is at its best when it is about how fascism is only defeated through collective action, and this is like very symbolic of that. And I loved how Dave Filoni is like, you know, I'm saying Dave, but it's Dave and John and Rick at this point, whatever. But like for Dave, especially like with the Darksaber starting with like the Clone Wars and everything, like for it to be a part of that very, very like specific message of Star Wars, I very much liked. I know that everybody will have like their nitpicks or whatever, but I was like, I liked that. I like how there was a specific political message there. My friend Mars has talked a lot about, and I'm really excited to read their review actually, from their perspective of like how it's really interesting how like it's not only a collectivist culture, but also one that values like protecting children and shit like that, and like what that means in our current culture, whatever. So like I appreciated it. It also had a lot of great Star Wars moments. Like, yeah, this is a show called The Mandalorian, and I got to see Mandalorians beat ass in the air with jetpacks, and two women, one with a giant hammer and one with a big sword, beat people in the air. And you know what? I think that's all you need in television, to be honest.
I was hooting and hollering. I was screaming aloud. That was just such a fun scene. That whole sequence of like that like the big fight and like being cut with me being like, oh my god, Axos is about to kill himself to save everyone, and then he was like, actually I live, bitch. Like that whole sequence of them flying into the stupid ass Imperial guards or whatever with the Beskar, like that whole scene was so fun, and it was like really good fight direction. Like the sequence was
Rick. Shout out to Rick who directed this episode.
Shout out to Rick, but also shout out to all of the people who do like special effects, because that shit was very cool and very well done. And I loved the pacing of it. I just thought this was a very well paced episode as well. Also, Din's fights, all of the fights that Din got to do, I was like, so true. He is serving. I forgot that like Din is such a competent fighter just because we haven't seen him do so much like one-on-one or like combat fighting in that way. So it was very reminiscent of like the Prison Break episode from season 1. Yeah.
Both the Prison Break and also the season 2 finale where he's beating Moff Gideon's ass also.
I liked when Bo-Katan yelled. She had the Darksaber and she sort of like screamed. I thought that was mega kind of her. Let's see. What else happened this episode? I liked seeing Din get to do hand-to-hand combat. Like he's very slayful at that. I feel like he didn't get to do a whole lot. He always is like, I have a bullet, and like that's sort of how that ends. So seeing him like fuck up some guards was pretty sweet. Yeah, I also thought, I don't know, Moff Gideon to me in season 2, he's like this like menacing. Season 1 and 2, he's like this like very menacing like evil force. And then this season I was like, he is a whiny child who is sort of running around doing God knows what, which like to be clear, I'm not mad at because I think it's funny. But when he was like, you ruined them, I'd finally given them one thing I never had, the Force. Like I was like, you sound like you're 5. And you've just been told that you cannot have pancakes for breakfast. Like I like he sounded so like petulant. I was like, okay, Diva, whatever you say.
Well, he was serving Krennic in Rogue One, who goes from like, I'm a menacing fascist to actually I'm just a fucking baby child. And I kind of love that because like when we finally get to the end and they're just a baby, he's like, I'm cosplaying as Darth Vader and also Mandalorians, and I have like, yeah, you are ridiculous and stupid. Die, fascist bitch. I love that.
Yeah, how his little like, I finally was giving them like force powers had the same kind of like vibe as when Krennic is just like, we stand here amidst my achievements.
That just kind of reminded me, and I'm about to do a deep cut, something I didn't even realize that was within me. Do y'all remember oh my god, what is his name? Trevor Morale? Is that his name? The guy who wrote a script for the for the 9th Star Wars film.
Trevorrow?
Colin Trevorrow. There we go. I'm sorry, I couldn't. All these names. Anyways,
white man who did Star Wars.
Exactly. On his script of Duel of the Fates, he had Hux as this character who was like a kind of like a fanboy, and he's like, I want to be involved, and that's what this kind of reminded me of. Also, I don't know, Moff Gideon, he was kind of giving Appleton Candle Lady from
Shut
the
up.
Bath and Body Works.
Oh my
Rant.
god.
Oh my god. Guys, you need to look up the Appleton Bath and Body Works candle lady. That shit is crazy.
That's a good reference.
No, one thing I really like, Claudia kind of mentioned it, but I want to touch on it a little more, is I think that it's something very interesting we see is that, like, you know, when we saw the hashtag the Shadow Council, like, they were all kind of doing their own thing, and I'm like, low-key, all of you are bitchy and petulant and like children. So something I really like that this show is highlighting is being like, are you a fascist? You have the mentality of a spoiled child. Like, I think that there is a very interesting commentary there, and in the end, fascism and the brand of fascism that they are practicing is ultimately about self-gain and is about achieving your own individual goals. And I think it also plays a lot into, like, just characterizing this ideal and, like, what these people saw in the Empire. And, like, it was not like, oh, the Empire is a good ruling method. It is the Empire is a good tool for for political gain and for individual growth. It is a way to game the system in which you do not have to do it in an equitable or, you know, not equitable, what is the word? Like in an ethical, thank you. You don't have to do it in an ethical way. I just think that it's very telling. And then seeing Moff Gideon have a little meltdown about it, I was like, this is very telling. It's saying a lot. You're telling on yourself, Diva.
The two things, like, knowing some of the canon stuff, like, stuff like this, a couple of the various shadow councils and shit that exists, both in Legends and in canon, were basically like Palpatine set this shit up so that the weakest of the weak would fight each other and burn out, so that only the strong would be left for the final order and shit like that. So it's interesting to, like, Moff Gideon is almost like he's like the example of that. But also I have to give credit to Star Wars Facts Guy on TikTok, because he also said, looking at it from a non-political point of view, it is also a metaphor for Star Wars fandom, in that the people who are like, I'm about the lore and I collect the things and I think it looks cool, like Moff Gideon, whatever, you look like a fucking clown. And on the people who are like, let's divide everybody, you look like a fucking clown. And all the people who were like upset about the Darksaber like being destroyed or whatever, because he came at it from this thing of like, oh, the people who are upset about the Darksaber being destroyed or whatever is like, yeah, you're the clown who's not getting it, just like Moff Gideon, who thinks that it's about the symbols, thinks that it's about the lore, when it's not. It's about the fucking themes, you idiot. Anyway, I don't know if they did that on purpose, but if they did, I love a good fuck you to the audience.
I love a Soups Moff Gideon parallels. I think that's kind of fun. I don't know why, but I do feel like Moff Gideon is the type of person to, first of all, pay for Twitter Blue. Boo, tomato, tomato, tomato. But also, much like one Star Wars Theory, have long ass essay tweets.
No, you're so right. He would.
I know that he's tweeting the most, like, long. Also, like, they're not even like he doesn't even have a lot of shit to share. He's just saying words, and he's like in the long course of history.
He's like, sequels fans, think about it from a critical perspective. What would people dislike? And people who hate the sequels, tell me from a critical perspective.
if we do this, then the fandom will come together and we will heal the schism of 1512. Like, shut up.
I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there is this guy on TikTok, and I don't know why my For You page for like 4 of his videos in a row, but it was this guy who's like average Redditor, and he's like going through airport security, and they're like, do you have any medals on you? And he's like, well, the human body has a variety of medals on it. You'll sound like a bit like a plebeian. I'm like, that is Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon is an average Reddit user. I also feel like he's a lot like the Fandom Menace, and he's a lot like Star Wars Theory, because he has a lot of shit to say about Bo-Katan that is not founded in reality.
I do love how they had the gay woman with a sword beat his ass. I loved that. And then Axe Woves, obviously.
We claim him.
We have to return to the fact that we went from, Axe Woves, silly little Glup Shitto, to like, Axe Woves with the steel chair saves the day.
I truly was like, I think that for a lot of us, and I know this is true for Mel, I'll speak on your behalf, but is that Axe was funny just because we were like, what the fuck happened? They left him in the shitter. Like, that's hilarious. To being like, I'm genuinely gonna be upset if Axe Woves dies. To being like, I was like cheering. I was screaming, crying when Axe was like, I'm gonna do something good. When he was like, Bo-Katan needs our help, I was like, so true!
He really was the collective Rupal Glub Shitto.
Well, and he embodies what being a Glup Shitto, like the true Glup Shitto arc. Like, going from like little guy that nobody knows about to being like the guy. Like that is the Star Wars trajectory.
He is like a lot like Cobb Vanth in a lot of ways.
No, literally.
Like, in the way that it's like he shows up for 2 minutes in one thing, like Cobb Vanth was in Aftermath, but it's like shows up for like 2 seconds and is not important, and then suddenly is like, actually, I'm quite important to the plot of this Filoni Favreau joint.
Hey, now you said that, and just because you mentioned them being similar in that regard, but you put their names together, and now my brain was like, Cobb/Axe?
Cax?
Axe?
Okay.
Coxe?
Coxe? Yeah.
Cox. Okay. Guys, Cox Dixe Polycule?
I
love that
Okay.
we are 4th graders.
No, because
Don't forget Paz. So,
yeah.
the cock sticks ass.
Guys, the polycule continues to grow.
Maybe the real romance smackdown was the
The cock sticks ass.
Yeah. Claudia, you have to say the full government name. It's the Coccyx ass polycule.
Didn't pass.
Should that-
okay,
And
you
look,
win.
I just want to say this. I know that they're sucking and fucking, and I support that.
Oh, wow. Okay, also followed by, this is something really important to me, guys, that I have to consider whilst editing this episode. Will I be advocating for the title of this episode being Cox Dick's Ass?
I think yes. I'm prepared for that to be the episode title. I don't remember if you said it, Mel. Do you want to talk about how your character was the only bitch who got any sort of screen time with Din Djarin?
I did mention that. Let me just rub this L, not this L, this W, all up in your guys' faces. The fact that Axel, it's just so weird for me to experience it, because I feel like I'm quite the fan of a Glub Shitto, of a guy who's really definitely not going to be important in the long scheme of Star Wars. See, Comac Vitus. Sorry, Comac. Love you, guy. Anyways.
What are you talking about? Comac Vitus was the reason that Axe Wolves was able to survive.
He's also, guys, didn't you not see him? He was standing just off screen.
Comac Vitus, he was in the cabin with Cobb Vanth at Din's house. Anyways.
Wait, Din Comac?
Tomac?
Kin?
Okay, let's talk about kin. Anyways, point is, it just is refreshing to see a character that I have put so much random bullshit on have a character and it not be quite exactly how I thought he would be. I thought he'd be a little bit more, I don't know, not xenophobic, but you know, sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Anyways.
Okay. Axe could do one of those like influencer apologies when they apologize for saying something that's like racially charged, obviously bad, and be like, I said those things because they were the worst things I could think of, and it was honestly a heat of the moment thing, and I'm so sorry for telling Djarin that he should have been he's not actually a Mandalorian blood. Like,
I really don't think I can picture anything else now besides Axe Woves on the Jeffree Star apology couch.
That's what I was to do.
Alternatively, I do also love the idea. This is not an apology video, but I'm just thinking about Axe Woves' controversial YouTube era.
Hey there, it's Mel, editing. It was at this point that, unbeknownst to us while recording, Noah's audio shit the bed. We don't have him for the rest of the episode. I don't know why. I'm currently going through my first run of editing, so I don't know how greatly impactful the lack of Noah will be in the rest of this episode. But no, trust that he was there. Oh wow, it's about to get so dark, guys.
No, because I need a show that's just, I need a prequel show that's about, that takes place between, like, Rebels and the Mandalorian, that's Din, or not Din, oh my god, fuck you, Din, it's not about you, but it's Bo-Katan meeting Axe and Casca and being like, these are my two bitches, and we're gonna hang.
Can we have, like, a sitcom about those three?
It would be so rancid. I love it. Because I also feel like Casca low-key constantly has beef with Axe. Like, she's like, every time he opens his mouth, she's like, I love him, we're teammates, but every time he opens his mouth, I'm like, oh my fucking god, shut the fuck up. No one asked you.
WLW MLM hostility.
Period.
You know when, like, he's coming back in with the fucking ship, about to crash it into the base, and he's just like, Bo, Koska. I was just like, Koska? Koska?
No, I thought that too. I was like, oh wow, have I been saying it wrong? No, surely it is the people in the show who are wrong.
Surely it's just Axe Woves that's wrong.
Koska.
I have an admission to make about Axe Woves. This is my apology letter. Okay, so you know how for the past like week everyone was being like, I wonder if there's a spy, because the last episode was called The Spies, and there was a lot of stuff about the armor, and I was like, leave her alone. Leave that white woman alone. I have to have solidarity with my people, white women. And here's the thing. I didn't believe that the spies referred to anything. Spoiler alert, it didn't refer to anything. Nobody was a spy. It did refer to the Book of Exodus. We were correct. However,
Common Rupalps W?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Common?
Okay.
Come on, I'm trying to give us the benefit of the doubt here.
All right,
play in this space with me.
We had a win with Zeb and with Axe. All I'm saying is this. When he started flying into space, number one, I went, how is that possible? And then number two, I was like, and then he was like, all right, everybody clear out of the ship. I'm going to drive. I'm going to be real with you guys. I did not trust him in that moment. I was not 100% trusting him, especially given his racist comments about Djarin. I thought he was about to turn on everybody. So when he did try to save everybody, and for a second I thought he was going to sacrifice himself, I was like, oh, I feel like kind of a bitch for thinking badly about Axe Woves.
I do like how you're talking about him like he's a real person. Like, you're like, I'm really sorry, Axe. If you're listening to this.
Anyway, this is my formal apology to Axe Woves and to Mel, the president of Axe Woves Nation. I doubted your man, and I'm so sorry. And
here's the problem, I did too. Here's the thing. I can't have shit. I don't trust white men in large. So I saw him do the things that he was doing, and I said, damn, Axe, can't have shit. So it was a pleasant surprise to see him slay so hard, and then also fucking do the gritty in front of Stellan Gios's corpse, as he was like, I can get out of my situation, can you?
Hey, you know, that I'm sorry that happened to you, Mel, but I will take the W here because I didn't doubt Axe Woves.
I was about to say, I didn't either. Noah, quick, you're the tiebreaker.
I didn't doubt Axe or the armorer, and so, not to be a bitch on main, but I was laughing at everyone being like, oh, I bet Axe is the spy, or, oh, I bet the armorer is a spy, and I'm just like, I bet no one is a spy. I think you're all just mean.
Claudia said something earlier. This is a little bit shifting, but Claudia said something where she was like, yeah, we win, guys. Like, you guys are winning. You got Axe, you got Zeb. And now I'm thinking about Zax or Aeb. But I'm just saying, listen, I know the girlies are obsessed with Kalazeb. I like it too. But if they were gonna be like, yeah, they broke up and now he's with Axe, I wouldn't be mad.
That's just the Star Wars version of Mel and Ollie.
What?
What?
No, that would be Fenrau and Zeb.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, also,
Are you calling me a xenophobic, Claudia? What the fuck?
I also feel like I have to come out and say I don't necessarily feel like I'm a lot like Zeb. I feel like if I was anyone on the Ghost crew, I feel like I'm in the middle of a sentence, Mima.
Ollie's wearing a purple shirt while saying I'm not like Zeb.
Okay, well, and it's also it's tie-dye, so it kind of looks like his stripes, but fuck you. What I'm saying is I don't even feel like I'm the most Zeb-coded member of this podcast.
Who is?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Because I'm the old grumpy gay uncle?
Yeah, who acts like a child sometimes, low-key. Yeah.
Sometimes you do a funny little accent.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Wait, can I get a quick who's who of...
I know.
Yeah.
I have an answer.
Okay.
I have an answer. Mel, you're Hera. I feel like not to be like I'm Caden coded, but I feel like he's the member of the Ghost crew that I am the most.
I mean, he is the most mentally ill, so
he definitely is. Kanan does take mood stabilizers. Dave Filoni told me himself. I feel like Claudia is Zeb. I feel like Noah is Sabine and Jess is Ezra. That's my RuPaul's Rebels fan cast.
So you just assign Claire Callus at birth.
A cab. I've thought about this extensively. It's really embarrassing. Anyway.
Fuck, what was I gonna There's something I wanted to bring up. Oh yeah, at the end when they're having the baptisms again and Din Grogu, how we all feel about Din Grogu.
All I gotta say is this. I love when Star Wars is like, we're gonna be culturally competent, only by accident though. They're like, yeah, of course there can be people who, from whatever culture that they're from, whether that's different kinds of Mandalorians, because if you guys didn't know, apparently Rook cast, also their clan name is Rook, apparently different kinds of Mandalorians, or we're taking from Din's source culture. Shout out to Mandalorians for respecting his birth culture. Great that there are people in Star Wars where their family name comes first. Wish we had ever established that before.
Okay, I will say, when would that have been established? Like, I feel like we have not
any character naming. Just fucking throw it in random.
I mean, that's fair, but that's what they did with Djarin. And I think here's the thing that I feel like I've seen so many brain dead takes is people being like, why didn't they tell us this was how his name was earlier? I'm like, when would they have done that? Not enough
most people called him Mando.
Yeah, not enough people call him Djarin to make that relevant. So I'm like, I feel like I understand being upset because it's like, oh, this was not how I pictured. And especially in a show that has relatively such little content compared to the size of the fan base and the amount of fan work about it. But I feel like the main people who are like when you get really upset because you're like, why didn't they tell us sooner? Or like, why? This is so stupid. Din should be his first name. I'm sorry that there's a whole chapter in Rough Day where Reader finds out that Din is his name and then continues to be like, oh my god, Din's such a good name for you. I'm sorry that is no longer canon.
Timothy Zahn being decanonized again?
But I think it's really cool that his name convention is a little different. Yeah. And I think we need to also accept that, like, that is a thing. So people are like, oh my god, his first name is Djarin? I'm like, no, his given name is Djarin. There are different cultures around the world whose family name goes first. Thinking about it in first and last name, and being like, his first name second it's a very, very Western way of thinking about naming conventions. So let's just, guys, before we speak, let's try to be culturally competent first.
Also, I mean, I as we know, we don't know what like future seasons of The Mandalorian will hold. But I also do love the idea of, like, in a lot of cultures where, like, family name comes first or whatever, and if you don't know somebody that well, you'll call them, unless, like, their sibling is also there or something, like, you'll call them by their last name unless you guys are close. So everyone calling him Din still would make sense. People who know his name, because everybody else is just calling him Mando, which in retrospect I guess is like in-universe racist, but we won't get to that. But he's like, yeah, call me Mando, I guess, because he doesn't want to give out his name. But like calling somebody by their last name, very common. I think Star Wars fans just need to watch a little bit more anime and calm down.
Yeah,
Or maybe okay, I like that you're like this real life group of people who has this same naming convention. You should just watch anime and then you can learn about Eastern culture.
No, it's not that. It's more just like people were so jarred by it. Whatever. I was jarred by it because I was like, Star Wars doing something that real people do in real life. Wow, okay, we haven't established that. All right, go on. But everyone else was like, this is so cool. I was like, I mean, it's not confusing.
I wanted to say, because I started to say yeah, but then Claudia also at the same time was like, you should watch anime. I was not saying yeah to like, oh, you should watch anime. I will advocate against watching anime.
Anime was a mistake.
I was saying yeah about like there's different naming conventions, and not everyone in Star Wars is referred to by their first name. Like fucking us. All the fandom always being like Callus when his first name is Alexander. So like there's that too.
I also love for Callus, one of the things that Dave Filoni said is that he didn't have a first name until season 3 because bad guys don't get first names. And I that shit stuck with me. That is the funniest shit.
Also, everyone always refers to Hux as Hux because Armitage is a stupid name. So.
Well, because bad guys don't get first names.
Well, and also a lot of the military characters, but also I was thinking about it like obviously like when they're in the Grand Army of the Republic, a lot of the Jedi are like General Kenobi or whatever, but a lot of people be like, oh, Kenobi. Ventress always most of the time refers to him as Kenobi or whatever. Like there's precedent for it, I think. I think much like, well, people were also talking about how like, oh, now he's finally his son. I feel like people were like, all right, that's cool. I wish we had established this earlier. He is our main character. Would have been cool to find that out earlier. I was like, it was a little, putting that aside, it was a little weird that it was like, oh, now he's finally his son. I was like, I feel like we've called him his son before.
Din never refers to Grogu as his son. He only ever refers to Grogu as Grogu or the kid.
Or his
everyone
ward.
Else.
Yeah.
Yeah, his ward, his apprentice, like this season, because like earlier when he had Grogu fight Ragnar, he's like, this is my apprentice. But yeah, Din never actually called Grogu his kid. It's everyone else is just like, oh yeah, your kid, your dad, to the two of them. And then they just made it official now, okay? Like, they finally are getting their paperwork done, but, like, I guess it's, like, the unspoken, like, yeah, since this kid, I'm the one taking care of them, I'm basically their parent, but now we've got our government, our government documents about this.
I really liked that. I liked that it was, like, because I feel like this is part of, like, the Din's character arc, is like this season was him learning about, like, not necessarily learning, but like leaning into community, and then being like, and now I have like a family unit, like sort of becoming more connected to others. I thought that was just a little cool theme for him this season. Sorry, Mel, I did not mean to talk over you.
It's okay. Congratulations, Djarin. Grogu is now a tax write-off.
I do want to say one thing that I didn't like was that the whole season is about like him reconnecting with his culture and uniting his culture and helping the people of his culture and whatever and taking back their homeland, whatever. And then at the end, they're like, and his happy ending, because we don't know, his happy ending is that he lives apart from everybody. And you're like, great, he could go on adventures. Why can he not be based out of the planet of the culture that he cares a lot about and has been a bounty hunter his whole life to help like fund them and his I was like, I mean, I get it for this. I was like, you could still have the same setup. Why has he got to have a second house? I'm like, you know what? I love a man who has boundaries with his family. He's a bi-coastal freelancing girly. He's what I want to be. Like, I get it. But, like, it was a little weird to be like, his family and his culture is so important. Anyway, he's going to go live in a one-bedroom apartment with his son by himself. And you're like, wait, what? Huh? I guess they want to go back to the lone gunslinger thing. It definitely goes back to, like, Westerns, whatever, of like, he's finally settle down or whatever. I liked that. But that part to me was a little antithetical to the themes of the whole thing. So it was a bit jarring. Get it? It was jarring anyways.
It's actually Din. Anyways, so kind of in that same vein, I did want to talk about that kind of end where Din is in his homesteader era. I think that, like, I don't know, it made sense to me because they wanted to wrap up Din's character in a nice little bow while we waited for Dave Filoni's Mandoverse movie situation. And I do think that it is kind of antithetical to, like, a lot of the themes of this season. However, I do think that, like, once again, it all comes down to, like, we can't expect a corporate machine like this to fulfill that narrative, because we live in a society, and specifically an American society, with the idea of homesteading and rugged individualism, that it makes sense that Din is doing his own thing on his own. Also followed by, I think it's kind of fun that Din's doing his own thing on his own. Like, do I think narratively it'd be more rewarding if he's with his community? Yes, but also I think it's kind of cool that Din's getting some time by himself and with his son. That he's just like, okay, this is my house, entry, please. I think that's important.
Well, what you said about his community, I guess one could argue that also through his travels, he has also built a community that's not just Mandalorians. Like, clearly, like, Grief Karga has become almost like family to him. Obviously got Peli, Motto, like all these different people that he's met along the way, but like maybe the real Mandalore was the friends we met along the way. Like, one could argue that. And like, he now trusts Carson Teva enough, like, you know, he has created a one could argue his community has extended beyond just his own culture. One could argue that, but I do agree that it's like, we can only expect so much.
I feel like I don't really have anything else to say that hasn't already been said. I really liked I liked this finale. I do agree to a certain extent that I think the pacing of this season was a little bit all over the place. But that being said, I do enjoy how this finale wrapped up a lot of the themes. I thought it was so cool. One thing no one has mentioned yet was freaking Chad Grogu versus Virgin Kanan. Because Grogu was like, no, fuck you guys, I'll stop this fucking fire. And I will say, I know it was a completely different situation. I'm not being like, oh, Grogu should have been, Kanan could have done it, Grogu did, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, I'm not saying that. But I really loved Grogu having his slay moment. Like, I loved that scene so much. Because it also, like, is very, reminiscent of the scene where he protects the squad from the fire troopers in season 1. I loved all of
fire bending Grogu.
No, literally. But I really liked that scene, and I loved Bo-Katan versus Moff Gideon. I just loved her being like, no, you know what? Fuck you. I got my homies. I don't need you. I don't need this stupid ass sword. Die. She was so real. Anyway, this was a good season for Bo-Katan girlies.
I did also realize that scene that you mentioned, there's also like the whole theme of like, is it, I think it's a line in like season 2 of The Mandalorian of like a Jedi and a Mandalorian, they'll never see it coming, like, and that's such a theme throughout like the Clone Wars and Rebels and now the several seasons of The Mandalorian. Like, whenever a Jedi and a Mandalorian come together, they do great things as friends or besties or tragic star-crossed lovers. Shout out to Obi-Wan and Satine. But like, I was just like, oh, I like that little callback. I think that is probably Dave's favorite little factoid.
It was fun. Yeah. I am a little sad Gideon perished in a fire because I feel like he still had more potential to be a bad guy, but whatever. We can't change anything about that.
It could have been a clone. It could have been a clone who died.
No, I think that's the real Gideon. Unless we get Gideon with 2 E's or something next season, but but yeah, it was a good time. Grogu, why do you flip like that? For whom do you flip?
For whom the Grogu flips?
My final thoughts are that I thought it was like a good like season finale. I'll be really interested to see like how it all works on the rewatch. I know that like a lot of people felt like this season was kind of choppy. I almost want to see like all 3 seasons together. I feel much like Rebels. It probably is better in the binge and better in the rewatch. That being said, the 8 episode season is a scourge on all of television. So that being said, I blame that. I do feel like it probably works a lot better from the macro perspective, and like seeing them all together than, you know, over the course of several years where we have a bunch of shit in between. That being said, having the Book of Boba Fett in the middle there doesn't help. With all that, I will say pretty much the only thing that I didn't like was, yes, Grogu had his little slay moments, and it wasn't that I don't like Grogu being there. It was just like, number one, I said this before, it's ridiculous that he's the only one coming along for the ride, when there are other younglings and other foundlings and other apprentices who did not come along for the ride, and he just got his fucking mobile suit Grogu, and like, yeah, you're gonna bring him along, and like, so all the little scenes with like Din being like, okay, but you have to help me, whatever. I'm like, this is very much like the Jedi have teen apprentices in the war just because the Clone Wars is a show for kids on Cartoon Network. Like, I get it, it's stretching it, whatever, but it's also like the whole thing is like Din wants to protect Grogu, and he's like, so you're gonna bring him on like the most important mission where something could happen to him, whatever. I will say, like, they had so many sleigh fight scenes or whatever, and then like the fight scene with the Praetorian guards, it was like Praetorian guards versus Din, and then Grogu basically being thrown like a potato sack around. I thought that was kind of dumb. That being said, I'm not gonna hold it against the show that much. It's camp, it's Star Wars, it's stupid. I don't care that much. I just was like, I had to suspend my disbelief a little bit, where I was like, and why is Grogu here? Like, he shouldn't be here. Again and again. But okay, sure, Jan. I will also say, do I advocate for more? I hate using the word cameos, whatever. No. However, it did make me a little sad that we know Sabine is coming, but like the retaking of Mandalore and Sabine wasn't there. I know we will probably find out why in the Ahsoka series, whatever, but it did make me just a little sad that she wasn't there. Because, you know, the history of the Darksaber and everything, and the history of Mandalore has been so tied to her and whatever. So I was a little sad about that, to be honest. But otherwise, I thought it was very slay. I had a great time. The way that the armor and Bo-Katan look at each other, I'll think about that for a long time. Women, am I right? I take back anything bad that I said about Dave Filoni and women before.
Hey guys, do we think Snoke is a Moff Gideon clone who's doing white face?
Can't do this. No.
All right. Welcome to Name That Ship, everyone's favorite segment, where one of us hosts brings the fic and lists the tags, and the others have to figure out what the ship of the fic is. And like always, we want to preface this with saying, you know, we support fanfic writers and we're not trying to be mean or bully anyone, because yeah, fanfic writers are out there putting in all the work. We see you and appreciate you, and we're just doing this to celebrate the love of fanfic. Anyway, which is just titled The Mandalorian. So the tags are character A / character B, character A and character B, character A, character B. If I say some of these characters, it will give away one of the characters right away. So I'm gonna skip 2 of these. Yeah, I'm gonna skip a couple of these characters. Baby Luke Skywalker, Sheev Palpatine, Darth Sidious, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, Yoda Star Wars, Omera Star Wars, Hondo Onaka, and then alternate universe, space opera, road trips, action / adventure, action and romance, pre/, Bamf character B, protective character A, They are sassy space dads. And then post Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, comedy, attempt at humor, song fic.
So this is 2 men. Is one of them Obi-Wan?
Yes, this is 2 men, and yes, character B is Obi-Wan.
Okay. Quinlan Voss.
No.
I like the idea of just bringing just like a completely normal ship like Obi-Wan and Quinlan and just being like, anyway, guess this crazy ship. So Obi-Wan's character B, character A. This is post. I'm sorry, you said this is what movie is this after?
Post Revenge of the Sith.
Post Revenge of the Sith. So this, okay, is one of them Owen Lars?
No.
Damn it.
Is one of them Fen Rao?
No. But
Okay.
I like where your head's at, Mel.
A Mandalorian? So it's a Mandalorian?
Yes, that's why the fic is called The Mandalorian.
Oh, right. Din Djarin.
It is Din Djarin / Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ew, Obi-Wan! He was a child!
This
Pervert!
is a weird, I think, an alternate universe, like it said. And, yeah, the other characters I did mention were Quill, and, Grief Karga, and the Armor, and Grogu.
Oh,
That's
wow.
wild.
Are we ready for my fan fiction that I've brought today? I'm very excited because I've scanned this. This is crazy, and this person's also updating fics like based on this sort of AU still like today, like just updated today, and I'm like very excited to go through their backlog. Yeah. So this is teen and up. It is rated general audiences. Here's the interesting thing. This is character A and character B, and then character B / character C. So there is one like platonic relationship and one romantic relationship, both involving character A. There's character A, character B, character C. Hurt, comfort, angst, implied reference to torture. Character A is a good bro. Protective character A, force-sensitive character A, character B needs a hug. So character A is not regularly force-sensitive. I'm going to read you the summary. Once upon a time, character A was captured by Imperials for information about character B. Now it's her turn, except they aren't nearly as merciful to her as they were to him. So basically, character A got kidnapped for information, and then later they kidnapped character B for information, and they like beat the fuck out of character B because it's the Empire.
Okay, so character A is a man.
Character A is a man, yes.
And character B is a woman.
Yes.
And
that is not the romantic ship. That is a friendship.
And character C is a man?
Character C is a man, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Are any of these characters normally Jedi or Force sensitive?
No. However, in this AU, character A is a Jedi.
Maul?
No.
Are any of these these from the original trilogy, Rebels, prequels, Clone Wars, or are they from various things?
So these characters are 2 of them are in Clone Wars, and then one of them is from Clone Wars, one of them is in Rebels exclusively, and one of them is in both Clone Wars and Rebels.
Do any of them already interact and are friends with each other in text? Or
I don't remember if we ever see character B and character C have definitely been in the same episode. I'm pretty sure they've interacted, but I don't remember them having like a conversation, but they definitely have. Character A is the one who I'm like, I don't think that he would know either of these people. Certainly not character C, in canon at least.
So none of them are Jedi. Are any of them clones?
Yes, character A is a clone.
Rex.
No.
Cody.
No.
Wolf.
No.
Gregor.
No.
Bat.
No.
Echo.
No. No. Oh my
Fives.
god. No.
Boba
No.
Fett.
No.
Omega.
Hunter.
No, it's not a member of the fucking Bad Batch.
Why would it be Omega?
I don't know.
No, there's a character, a clone character who's very popular.
Boba Fett?
Crosshair.
No.
Not a member of the Bad Batch.
Bowser?
Oh,
No.
who's
Did you
very-
guys say it and I
Cody?
missed it? No.
It's not
Fox?
It's a
Fives?
character.
listed-
Okay. From the
Jesse.
from the 501st. Not Jesse.
Jesse.
Fives?
No, not Fives.
Dogma?
Oh my god, Claudia, no.
A character
Who-
who's popular? Fucking
Yes, who else is in the 501st? Jesse and
Kicks!
yes! Oh my god.
Wow.
This is-
so
this
sorry
is
to
the
kick.
entire 501st.
This
No,
is
literally.
this is Kicks and character B, Kicks / character C.
Oh, character A / character C.
Yeah.
And character
and
C's a
character
man,
C's-
you said.
Character C is a man, so it's Kicks and a man.
And then the friend is a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, is the woman Hera?
No.
You said
the
it was from
woman
Rebels.
Ahsoka.
She is character B is a woman. She is in both the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Is it Ahsoka?
Bo-Katan.
It's Bo-Katan.
Shut up. Kix and Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
Kicks, Bo-Katan, and then a man. Fenrau?
No, but you're not as far off as you may think.
So it's a
Wolves.
Mandalorian?
Yes, he's a Mandalorian.
Paz
Zax Wolves?
Vizsla.
It's not Axel. It's not Paz Vizsla. He's in Rebels.
Previously?
No, it's
Gar
Previous-
Saxon.
Fast.
No,
Gar Saxon.
no, it's
He's a
not.
Mandalorian who was in Tristan Wren.
No, but you're close.
Ursa Wren.
No,
Tristan.
Ulrich Wren.
it is. It is. No,
Yeah,
it is
Ulrich.
Ulrich Wren.
Wait,
So,
Ulrich, what are you doing?
Bo-Katan's-
You're married.
Bo-Katan / Ulrich Wren.
No,
No.
it's Kick / Ulrich Wren.
Oh!
No, this is Bo-Katan. Okay, I actually did skim this. I did read it.
Holy shit.
I know why I lied. I'm gonna say that. I actually did read this. Basically, Kix is a clone Jedi.
Slay.
And they're like, oh my god, you're a Jedi? That's crazy. And you're a clone? That's crazy. He and Bo-Katan are like brother and sister.
Okay.
They are
like
very
that.
close. Also, Ulrich Wren is like just his boyfriend. Which
Which I love because obviously he divorced his wife and his wife is
I think
is
this
dating, is dating Bo-Katan.
I don't think that's quite the vibe of this fic. However,
No, I
think
know that
Kix-
in my heart because she was in the Night Owls.
I think that I do believe that Kix is like the last Jedi. Like this is post Order 66, I think. I might be misreading it. I did read
The
it quite
Last
fast.
Jedi starring Kix.
Anyway, I'm low-key obsessed with this.
I love this.
I'm just think Kix / Ulrich Wren is so inspired. Like how did you
Wow.
come to that? And I'm obsessed with it.
The Last Jedi where everything is the same except for it's Kix who won't train Rey.
Thank you so much for joining us this week for RuPaul's Pod Race. Episodes drop every Sunday. For updates, Star Wars news, and more cursed shit, follow us on social media at RuPaul's Pod Race. Want to ask us a question? Send them to our TikTok Q&A, Tumblr Ask box, or email us at rupaulspodrace@gmail.com. If you really love the show, please rate and review it on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, or Overcast, and tell a friend who might be interested. It really helps. And may the Force be with you, and don't kriff it up.
Waka
Waka
waka.
waka.
Waka. In the words of Woves, for Mandalore, but in a British accent.